Hey folks, welcome back. We're going to get started on a series of videos we're going to do here, doing a complete full service on this Lincoln Continental here. This is a 1979 400 V8 C6 Ford automatic transmission, and we're going to do, engine oil service, transmission service, and we're going to service the rear end, do the front wheel bearings, get into the back brakes, check those, all that stuff. So not really sure exactly how, if it's all going to run into one video. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to break it all down. And I think the first one we'll start with on this video is doing the oil change and transmission service, because there really isn't much to get to with the oil change. But anyhow, we've got it all warmed up right now. Been sitting here for 5 to 10 minutes, and then just gonna get it up on the lift and show you doing everything, and then especially getting into doing the transmission service, dropping the pan, replacing the filter, and all that stuff. So let's get started. All right, so the oil, pretty self-explanatory to do. Bottom of this 400 we've got, I'm gonna have to move y'all back just a smidge, but we got a 7/8 plug right here. Takes a 7/8 socket, and then you got your oil filter right here. These side oil pan plugs, you're gonna want your drain pan or whatever, because oil's gonna come shooting clear out over here. They're not my favorite. Okay. And these 400 V8s, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done an older 460 like this, but I think they're pretty much the oil filter and all that's in the same configuration. The way I like to install oil filters is not too tight. You should be able to get it off by hand. A little easier with a wrench, but you don't want to. A lot of people tend to super snug those things down, and they just don't need to be that way. Grab us a new filter. Okay, we're using a Napa 15, well, that light's bright, ain't it? 1515 oil filter. Pretty much when it bottoms out, I'll give it another 3/4 of a turn, just like that. Let that drain a little bit longer, and then when you're under here, you're gonna, just inspect everything you can. There's the fuel pump, and then check the condition of all your belts, but you can see those from up top. And then when you get underneath here, you got various points to grease, which should be done at this time. I just did this recently. Actually did it when I first bought my lift, because I wanted to see how well it would lift this car. But you got upper and lower ball joints, and then we got all these steering tie rod grease search right there on that one. And I think it's somewhere on that one. There's that one from the pitman arm coming from your steering gear. And you got that one, and you got upper and lower ball joints on that side. And then while you have it up in the air like this, we're also going to remove the wheel, remove the hub, repack the wheel bearings, and put a new wheel seal and all that stuff. That's going to be in a separate video. And that's pretty much everything. And then when you come back, if you're underneath here, you know, they've installed, or I don't know if they're original. I doubt they're original U-joints, but there's no grease dirt on these U-joints. So if not, then, you know, to do the rear end, well, camera focus. These are not the funnest to do because they don't have the rear cover on the back, which would be nice. But so this whole differential thing's got to come out, meaning the axle's got to come out. So we're gonna have to do that at some point. We'll make a video doing that too. And then, yes, there's no greasable points back here, but you just want to come underneath here and just kind of, you know, look things over. Looks like we do have a seal that an oil never seems to make it on the ground, but we do have a seal going out there, so wouldn't be a bad idea to change that at some point. But then in this video, we're going to be dropping this pan down and servicing this transmission. So now we're just going to install our plug. These don't need to be 600 gorilla pounds tight either. Just a good snug, that's all I need. Okay. And we'll refill it later on. We're not going to bring it down just to fill it. So. Okay, here we are, moving over here to the transmission. And most automatic transmissions do not have a drain plug on the bottom of the pan. Just is what it is. We got a bunch of these 1/2-inch socket bolts we got to get out all the way around there. I usually just leave all of them, one in each corner. Get all of them out, leave one in each corner. And then start taking it down from one side, let the pan kind of drop this way and let the fluid come out that way until it's kind of done coming out, you know. But then that's what what I'm going to go ahead and do is get all those bolts out off camera, except for like 4 of them, one in each corner, and we'll go from there. All right, got only 4 bolts left in here, so I'm going to start by just loosening these bolts over here. And the transmission pan, I did notice that time start to come down. Now this one I'm going to take completely out. Actually, never mind, I'm just going to I don't know in the view if you can see, I got this, you know, big wide pan. It's really nice to have something like that. I've used to use a plastic garbage can lid, cut a hole or drill some holes in the bottom of it so you know no big or no bolts fall through it. Stick that over a bucket or something like that. Okay, so this one I'm going to go ahead and remove it all the way. And instead of getting oil all over my gun, I'm just going to opt to use this 1/2-inch drive nut driver. You can kind of hold this up a little bit. I'm kind of holding it with my thumb, with my left hand there. And then we'll just kind of let this come down. See there, I dropped the bolt. We'll just let that drain there for a second. Okay. And we'll come over here to the other side, and then I kind of just push this back up. And then since I loosened these already, they'll come right out. Then I'm holding pressure with my left hand. Oh, my nut driver's too slippery. Okay. And then you kind of want to come, it's going to hit on those lines right there. There we go. I wouldn't have just gotten it on my arm right there. That would have been dang near perfect. Interesting. I'll point out something interesting that on this particular deal that I don't have, not going to have an answer for, but I don't know if you heard, well, like as I was dropping this down, you know, something fell out, but you can see that, you know, that bolt came down with the pan. It goes right there. It's one of the bolts here. This is the filter. So there's one of the bolts for that. I don't know how or why that came out. It was, yeah, I think it was up in its hole, because when I dropped the pan, I heard it clunk. And if it, you know, if it was already laying in the bottom of the pan like it is now, I probably wouldn't have heard it. But when I took it down, I just kind of heard a clunk, and there's that. So we're just gonna let this kind of drain a little bit. Turn this over and let it drain out. And then next thing we're gonna do, I'll show you what this filter, new filter, looks like. We're gonna end up having to take all of these bolts out of here. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them. We'll confirm that, but looks to be 11. But I'll show you what that filter looks like. Okay, this is a NAPA part number, that one right there. You know, this is the filter. There's hardly anything to it because it's just basically a shell. You're really just replacing this screen right here. You can see, you know, pretty much see right through it. So just interesting, but that's what they are. And it's got its own gasket, and then we got the other gasket here for the pan. And it's not too bad. It's just a matter of getting everything, the pan and all of that stuff, all cleaned up and whatnot. So we'll keep on going. All right, so now we gotta just get all of these screws out. There's they're all 5/16 head, except for this one here looks like a 3/8 bigger headed bolt. So we're gonna keep that in mind, you know, putting it back in, because it's a different bolt. And this one is definitely a different bolt than this one that we found that was out. So these two bolts right here are 3/8 head, and they're different than all the rest of them. I don't know why this one was already out, but it was. So we'll have to
Just got to remember that. Anytime you're doing that, just watch out how things go. You know, like this bolt is the exact same as that first 5/16 headed one we took out. So that's the thing you watch when you take stuff like this apart. This bolt here was longer than any of these others by just a little bit, so that's what I mean. You got to take note of that. That one came out of that hole right there. Okay, just need to get a 3/8 headed socket. That bolt is a different style 3/8 headed bolt. You know, not that it's the same length, but you can see this one here's got a little bit of a shoulder on there. I don't know what that means, but you know, this one with the shoulder, that one goes here because that's the one that was already out, and I just checked to make sure I had the right threads. And then this one that's got the threads all the way to the deal there, that one goes there. So, and then I think I have one more, another 5/16 one, and it still might stay in place, so I'm just going to kind of hold it till I set the gun down. The gasket came with it, which is good. All right, next thing you just kind of want to wipe off the oil. Then once we do that, we'll get that thing screwed back up in there. Okay, now we're gonna get this up here. We've got the gasket in place. And then I'm just gonna start a couple of bolts. I'm gonna start this long one here on this side over here. And I'm going to take just one of these regular 5/16 ones and go here, because they're all the same. And now I'll take this 3/8 headed one, stick it clear over here, because that's where it came out of. Then you're just going to go ahead and take this other 3/8 headed one with the shoulder on it, stick it back here. Remember, this is the one that fell out on us. rest of the bolts are all the same length, so it doesn't matter which way those go. So I'll go ahead and just pause it and get all them started. Okay, now we're just gonna run these up. I'm not really gonna tighten them very much with this gun because I just want to do it with a ratchet so that I can feel it. You want to be careful running this up too, because that just got caught on one of the threads over here, and if you're doing this too fast, you could bend it. Got 3/8. I can feel it a lot better with a ratchet, knowing I don't know the torque specs or anything like that. They just need to be snug. And we're done with that part. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up all of this. Go clean up our pan, get it stuck back up on there. Okay, so with this all cleaned up, if you feel comfortable enough eating out of it, then it's good. But putting the gasket on, you just want to make sure the one you've got fits. I don't see why it wouldn't, but unless it had a different pan design on some of these C6s, I don't know if there were or not, but it wasn't when I ordered it. Not that I remember, but always just want to check that. And then what we're gonna do, put a tiny film of silicone to kind of hold the gasket in place, and I mean just a little bit. We're gonna kind of just sparingly go across here, and then I'm gonna smear it with my finger down, because you just don't want an excess amount of this, because you don't want it smearing and getting inside of here and then having little rubber pieces, rubber-ish, whatever this, you know, how this stuff dries. You don't want that pieces floating around in your oil and getting caught in your now new filter or anywhere else. Let's see, we've got this going to be just nice and thin, just enough to be tacky, but it ain't going to smear when we tighten it up. Obviously, it'll also aid in the sealing of the gasket just a little bit, but so we're actually going to put just a little bit across the on this side of the gasket too. Not very much. It's a rubber gasket, so provided everything is clean, it should seal up really good. But just a little bit of help. A little bit more over here. If you do have any excess, like I kind of did on the inside here, you just go around it like that. And that should be ready to go. Okay, we're about ready to go up with the pan, so this is kind of where you want to double check your work, make sure you got all your bolts in for your filter, and they're tight. So now this, got these lines right here, this is what was hanging on when I was taking it off before. So you kind of want to go up at an angle and then just go right up like that. Line your holes up. Okay. Oh, be stubborn. I'm not even running these up. Just enough to where the pan doesn't really fall, because you still want to be able to try to move it around some. Yeah, then we'll get all those in. Pause it for a second. Okay, now we're just gonna take the, oh, I got the wrong socket. Okay, and then doing these, if you remember, these are 1/2 inch, so I'm gonna just start here in the middle and work my way out. It's not too critical, other than just nice to have it go even. I don't know the torque specs on these either. Just feeling it. You don't want to really crank these down, or else you'll smear the, or smush the even the rubber gasket out beyond. So I'm just tightening it to where you can start seeing the gasket just barely pop out, but I'm also feeling it too. I've done this so many times. Would be better if you looked up the torque spec and did it that way. And that's that. Basically, you know, you want to get it to where it's not smushing the gasket out, you know, and that's the most you ever want to see silicone smushed out. So should be fine. Now what we'll go ahead and do, whoa, I'm tripping over my heater there, dang it. All right, we'll get this car down and get both the engine oil. We'll do it first, and then we'll get the transmission filled back up. So let's keep on going. Okay, so we're gonna start with the engine oil here. Oil fill right here, and then on this particular engine, dipstick's kind of hidden right there. Hardest thing about this dipstick is I've got used to it now, but at first it's like you find the dipstick, you pull it out, and then you're sitting there like, oh, where's the hole? Where is it? Where is it? And you look for it for a while because it's really hidden down in there. Once you pull the thing out, there's no way to see it. You can see the, anyhow, not relevant, but yeah, so you just want to look over everything and, you know, check your fluid levels and stuff. I actually put, you know, I don't know why this doesn't have like a cap or whatever, but I put a little tiny hose in here and a couple of adapters to a little small funnel, and I get coolant put down inside of there just so some of it might get evaporated out or something like that, but very rarely does it ever go back down again. At least on this system, it's staying pretty sealed up pretty good, because we did water pump and everything like that a year and a half ago or so, and new coolant, all that stuff, new heater core, everything. I've got other videos on actually doing that, little bit of the water pump, a little bit of the heater core. I didn't film it that great, but I did do some stuff like that with it. You know, troubleshooting any of that kind of stuff, making sure all that stuff works. This is updated add-on stuff. I wish I did a better job of getting that wire in there. I need to get that fixed, make that look a lot better, but that is our new POA valve for the air conditioning system, and I've got a video on that. And then this AC compressor, you can see, started leaking out here. I actually managed to, it was like we probably had maybe another month of weather that I would be using AC, and I managed to tighten these bolts up, all 4 of them, and stop the leak for now. And it actually still has, this thing's still charged up, but we're going to replace this compressor this year, so I'll probably go ahead and film when I do that. So but anyways, this is your power steering, and when we get back to it, the transmission dipstick is right down in there. You'll need some kind of a little funnel of some kind of wherever. I'm going to use this thing right here. These things flex, but they're small enough to fit in there. So let's get this oil filled up. Okay, so we got the oil in, about 5.5 quarts is what I put in this engine here. Now the transmission, we got the dipstick pulled out right there. I'm going to go ahead and just put in 4 quarts, this ATF Type F, and you know, because it even says recommended right there for older Ford and select import vehicles. I don't know, but anyways, that's good stuff for these transmissions. So we're going to put in 4 quarts, then we're going to go ahead and fire the engine up and run it through the gears, and then let it run for a while, and then we'll might even drive it, take it and check it, and we'll go from there. So we'll keep on going. All right, now we got the engine running. Transmission just went into reverse, neutral, drive, pretty good.
Okay, I had to add actually 2 more quarts just to get it to that point right there. And what we're gonna do now is just go take this thing out and drive it, get the transmission warmed up, and bring it back in and check the final level. So let's do that. It's a really cool view out of these cars. Just absolutely love it. Okay, these cars and these with that C6 should, under really light throttle shift, about first into second, about 10 miles an hour. These are really hard to tell too. There it goes. Give it a little bit more gas, and then about 20 to 25. There it goes. There it goes. I don't know if I got a good shot of that, but we were literally, you can see the 2 arrows right there. We were literally right about there, right at the end of my fingernail. So we're gonna leave it right there for now. Remember, we started with it right here when it was cold, and then we took it out and drove it, and it went all the way up to here. So there's a chance that it could expand even a little bit more, or will probably be just perfect. So we're gonna leave it like that. Stick this dipstick back in here. I'll drive it around more, check it in a few days. And then we're, gonna get this thing back up in the air and check for leaks and make sure everything's good. All right, so we're back underneath here. This all still looks really good, dry. So we'll check those bolts tightness again, and everything looks good. I do have a rear main seal that's leaking. It's gonna have to be a project for some other time, because that's a big project, removing the transmission. I mean, not too big, but it's bigger than what we just did. We'll check the oil filter. That all looks good. And then, like I said, grease all these spots there, and check your oil final level for the oil. And then next video, we're gonna do the front wheel bearings and get those all cleaned up, inspected, and then repacked with new grease if they're good. Suspect they are, but and then after that, we'll do the rear brakes. That'll even be a separate video. And then beyond that, we'll get in here to removing, and we're going to replace this seal, and there might be a seal behind here. I cannot remember exactly how this comes apart. I'm pretty sure you just take it apart here. Anyways, we'll get into that video there, but we got to get this thing resealed up. It's not a fresh leak, but it has leaked, and pretty sure it's coming from this pinion seal right here. But you can see how these have to come off, with the whole carrier has to come out, which means the axle's got to slide out and all that. So yeah, that'll be, we should just had a cover on the back of here. That would have sure been nice. But anyways, we'll inspect and check these rear brakes. Like I said, we'll do that all. I think the brakes will be in a separate video, and then the rear end will even be in another video. So just check back with more and everything like that. So anyways, hope this helped you out with the servicing of the transmission, and then just basic oil change and chassis greasing. So anyways, thanks for watching.